Hello beautiful souls, welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Today I want to talk with you about ship contact. We're going to be talking about the different ways that you can experience contact, and also I'll be sharing some personal experiences of mine that you might be able to relate to. So definitely make sure that you like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for new videos every single Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. 3 new videos a week on this channel. So if this is your thing, then make sure you subscribe before you leave today. So the first thing that I want to talk about with ship contact, and I also want to invite you all to definitely share your experiences in the comments. Let's start a conversation in the comments about what you've experienced, because this happens to a lot of kids, right? Like so many children see something really crazy in the sky and then they remember it their whole lives. I lost count how many adults have said that to me. Seeing things like the shape of a triangle, like a ship, the shape of a triangle that's hovering completely silently in the air and then just gone. Like it's so fast, or it just winks out of existence, kind of like string theory, that it's just suddenly gone. Another really cool experience that someone shared with me was about a ship shaped like a blimp, which is pretty cool, like inflated almost, that shape. And so you've probably had, maybe even as a kid, right? What did you see in the sky? Was it daytime? Was it nighttime? What was the shape? There are so many different shapes. There's the discs and the triangles and the blimp shapes. I mean, what else? Like dome-shaped ships. So many different ship sizes and shapes. So yes, I'm very curious about what you have experienced for sure. Please share that. So what I know for sure is that there are a lot of different kinds of ships and shapes and all of that hovering outside of Earth's atmosphere at this time. Being there to support us with their energy, being as close as they can get, right? So, of course, the collective consciousness at this time is not ready for disclosure. I think we could probably all agree on that. So if there were to be disclosure, so disclosure means revealing. So if aliens were to land, or extraterrestrials, our galactic families, if they were to land on Earth, what do you think would happen? There would be like, oh my God, chaos, maybe like wars and battles over it. Like, I don't know, it wouldn't be good. It definitely wouldn't be good. And then the most of humanity, most of the collective consciousness is too gullible right now. Like they are just willing to believe whatever they are told by the media. And of course what the media would do is take that because of, you know, they're just puppets of higher up beings, but they would just take that ship landing and turn it into something evil and a threat when it wasn't. Like even if it was meant as like, you know, them coming here to be of service and to help us and to finally like show themselves, it would be so twisted by the media and turned into a false narrative. So I've heard definitely about false flags and false narratives being created around already before they've even landed, around aliens landing. So just be very aware that when and if it does happen, that it's likely the story, the narrative, is going to be very controlled by the media to suit them. So no, the collective is not ready for like mass disclosure at this time, but you can have personal disclosure. So personal disclosure is contact with you personally as the soul, as the individual with these beautiful ships. And so you can do that in a lot of different ways. So the first way that I want to talk about is you astral traveling to the ships. So astral travel happens mostly during our dream time, like when we fall asleep, the soul goes on all these beautiful adventures, but astral travel can also be done through like meditation or trance, and then you are like lucid dreaming essentially. So whenever you become lucid in a meditation, a vision, or a dream, then you are very aware and you can remember and be like in control, not of your surroundings, but of your own self and reactions. And then that just, it really all helps you to remember. Another great tip on remembering your astral travels, and I know I've shared this before, but I love to share and help you guys, is selenite or clear quartz. Either one, sleep with them in your hand or by your bedside. That will also really help you to remember. And then your dreams, just know that your dreams are a lot of the time actually soul memories. It's what your soul was just up to during the night. So dreams come to us, and we can just have like glimpses or scenes, like a quick scene of something, and that's, you know, generally where your soul was or what you were doing. And then other dreams are very symbolic because we're not ready to see or understand all of the different things that our soul is doing at night. But when you see like a scene of you, especially if it's on a ship or in another dimension or in another timeline, just trust that your soul is actually, it knows what it's doing, and it's going and having all of these experiences in the nighttime. So what I would always recommend with astral travel is to call in Archangel Michael for protection. So before you start your meditation or before you fall asleep, call on him. Ask him to escort your soul wherever it needs to go, and then to also remain behind with your body, because he can be in all places at once. To remain behind with your body and protect it, but also to follow your soul on its travels and be like your personal bodyguard and security council. And he will absolutely do that for you and help you with that. Another thing that people use is the invisibility cloak, where you are cloaking yourself in invisibility as the soul, so that you are not, you know, your light and everything is not being broadcast for everyone to see, that you can go about your business and what you need to do with some sense of privacy. So I've had a lot of ship like experiences, especially during astral travel. Too many to name them all here, but one that stands out, and this one wasn't recent either, but it was a really long time ago. It was one of my first like really strong ship experiences. I was so lucid. It was like I was there, and I was a little scared, I remember. But there was people around that were comforting me. But anyway, I arrived on this, you know, it looked like a cruise ship. Like it had the feeling of a boat, but it was a spaceship. And I was wrapped in a blanket, and I was behind a stage and an audience. There was this huge audience of beings, and a lot of them looked like different beings. There were some grays, some Andromedans, a little bit of everything. So thinking back on this could have been a Galactic Federation ship, because they tend to be mixed, different beings all mixed together. But anyway, so I was behind this like platform thing with people waiting, and I was wrapped in a blanket, and I remember seeing this like huge statue of a lion, and I thought it was a statue, but it actually turned and looked at me, and I was like, oh my God, it's alive. And I was so like present and lucid and aware in this dream, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know where I am or what's going on, but there was like a really nice older man like comforting me, and then when it was my turn to go on the stage, he kind of like shooed me onto the stage. And when I was up there, they asked me to sing a tone, like a note. And I sang a note, just holding it. And then I went up a little, down a little, and then back to that same note. And like, I looked out at the crowd, and there were all these eyes on me. It was crazy, like all, and no humans. And I remember being like, I was a little, like, I remember being scared, because it was like my first experience on a ship, and I didn't know what I was doing or why I was doing this. But they were looking for a certain tone, and this was like around when I was making an album too, I think, right before maybe. So it makes sense, right? So whether or not they were helping me like create or figure out what tones were needed, because our voices carry healing tones. Whether we're speaking, whether we're singing, whether we're using light language, whatever you're doing, you actually have your own keys to healing and ascension in your voice. And that's why sometimes certain people's voices will really call to you or resonate with you, because it's what you need at that time for your next level, either next level healing or next level of growth or whatever. We're always going to be attracted to what we need as the soul. So yeah, that was a really weird experience. It didn't really extend past that. I just walked off the stage, And then I was like, what was that about? And everybody was just like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Like, no explanation for what just happened. And then I woke up in my bed in the morning and I just remembered it so clearly. Another example is, so that was astral travel. That was like a dream time experience, right? And those are going to be really powerful because our souls travel every single night. Guaranteed, you're traveling every night. It's crazy, I know, but so that's why it's really important to remember to call in Archangel Michael. And if you want to remember your dreams, to be, consistent with your crystals, or some people use intention to remember their astral travels just by stating before they fall asleep, I am going to remember, or asking their team, please help me remember what my soul does tonight when I wake up, because I want to be connected to this information. And then another experience that you can have is during meditation. So during meditation, you start visualization with your imagination. So if you're trying to go to have a meeting with the Galactic Federation or go to a certain planet or whatever, just start with your imagination. It opens the doorway. So start imagining, what would that look like? How would I begin this journey? Imagine calling in Archangel Michael. Imagine going together. It will start the experience, and then your soul will take over and it will become very real. So for me, this has happened a lot with Galactic Federation meetings. I just state, as I'm going into meditation, I need to have a meeting with you guys. I need to catch up. I need to know what's going on, or I need help with something. So here we go. And then I start to visualize Archangel Michael coming to get me leaving my body, and then we're heading towards the ship, which is on the outer atmosphere of Earth, like on the outskirts of the atmosphere. So whenever I do that, the visualization or the imagination is like how I get there. Then all of a sudden I'm actually there, and the ship is so real. Like, I've had so many experiences where I just all of a sudden wake up, like the lucidity hits, and I'm standing in a hallway, and it always looks, I think it's like maybe the same ship or similar ships for the GFL. But one of the times I became aware when standing in a hallway, and I looked up, and my very tall Andromedan guide Lily was with me. And she was looking down at me, smiling and kind of saying, come on, here we go. And we walked down this huge hallway. There was even like an escalator style that took us down, and then the hallway was like all white, huge ceilings, like everything was so tall when you looked up. The hallway was all white. It was all white and silver accents with a super high ceiling, then these moving stairs as we go down, and then we get to like this, there was a couple of doors along the wall, and we stop outside of a door, and she kind of says like, go ahead in, like you're about to have a meeting. I go into the door closes, I completely like forget from that point on, just blank, and then it picks up again as I come out the door. And Lily wasn't there, that's my Andromedan guide, she wasn't there to escort me back. I just kind of figured out which way to go. I was like, oh, there's the stairs, and I started going up. So I remember everything, like with her, the hallway, going to the meeting, and then it's blank, right? And that happens when you, the human, is not ready for that information. My soul knows what was said behind that closed door or decided on, some decisions being made. But human me either doesn't need to know or won't understand or will get tripped up by it even, probably. Because we overthink everything. We get way too serious and intense. We overthink everything. We overanalyze everything. So they were just like, okay, you asked to remember and to see what your soul was up to. Here's all the parts that you're allowed to know about. And it's like all the in-between stuff, which is kind of funny. And then I found my way up the stairs, and then that was the end of that vision. So I just got like a small taste, but sometimes that's all you need. Like that, having something like that kind of a memory will still help you feel connected to your soul aspect, to my guide that was there, to being on a ship, to it all just feeling like and knowing how real it all is. So, if you ask to remember, just know you might not get all the parts, but be grateful for what you do get to remember, because it's so very cool and very real. Another time that I was on a ship recently, actually, was when I was talking with one of my Pleiadian guides, Daniel. And as I'm talking to him, and like I told him that I needed to talk to him, we needed to have a little meeting. Then that was as I was going into a meditation, and then all of a sudden I'm there with him, and it's all very real, like visceral. And he's sitting and I'm standing and we're just chatting, and you kind of arrive mid-conversation a lot of the time too, and they're just like, oh, okay, and then you just keep going. But behind him was like the control panel, because that's where he's always sitting. Like whenever I see him, he's like, he has a lot to do with like, I don't know exactly everything that he does because I probably wouldn't understand it, but he has a lot to do with like navigation, connections. He's actually the guide that really helps me to connect during my readings. So he's able to like take my clairaudience and like plug it in to the ship in a stronger way and help me to connect with my clairaudience and my clairvoyance. So whenever I'm starting a reading and I'm calling in the client's team, I always ask Daniel, please help me connect with these people, these beings on this person's team, like plug in my clairaudience and my clairvoyance to this group of people so that it's very strong and very, very accurate and very detailed for the client. And it's so crazy. And then when I'm done, we just unplug everything. So I don't know how he does the things that he does, but whenever I see him, he's always like sitting in a swivelly silver chair, and behind him is like this huge board of controls, like whatever he does. So that's another experience of like a Pleiadian ship, which is really cool. And then another thing I don't know if you've heard of before is called CE5. I can't remember the man's name that created it, but he's a cool dude. And CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or fifth dimensional kind. And this is where you can call a ship to you. And it's very powerful when it's done with a group, because group intention is very powerful. Group meditation, if you haven't been a part of a group meditation, is incredibly powerful. You don't always have to do everything on your own, because when you get in with a group intention or a group meditation, it like takes over. It's like this huge wave of energy that you just kind of plug into, and it's effortless, and then there's more detail, it's more powerful, it's really cool. So I love doing those kinds of things on like World Peace Day, or I mean lots of different reasons why you would connect with a group meditation. And when they do chanting, it's so beautiful. It generally brings out like light language in me, and it's awesome. So anyway, CE5, if you are open to doing something like that, you can join in online on a lot of these groups. You can create a group of your own. You can just go out and do it on your own too. It doesn't have to be nighttime. It can be daytime, anytime. But what they do recommend, and what does work well, is to be in an open space. Like not necessarily a city is not going to be the best, but if you can get, like if there's a body of water or a large field, if you can get somewhere where there's like open sky above, then you're going to have a better chance of seeing something. And it's basically like sending a signal out to any ships nearby that are, working with humanity and for working towards the best interests of humanity. So make sure that you don't just call anyone, because you don't want that. Make sure that who you're calling is aligned with you in a good way. Can you please come and show yourself to me? I want to strengthen my belief. I want to be inspired. I want to connect with you. Let me feel your presence. Let me connect with you. Like if you have clairaudience, you can connect with your clairaudience and hear them, and they can speak to you. And then really amazingly, sometimes they can not just connect with you through energy, but they can connect with you by physically doing something, like flashing lights in the sky or flying by quickly or something. So a lot of people will see this at night. They will see lights in the night sky that don't act like a plane. It's not a star. It's not anything like that. It's standing still, or it's winking in and out of existence into different spots, which is something that they do often. Or it accelerates really quickly to a different spot and then freezes again and then goes back. Or it shines its lights at you, something. Like, I don't know all the things that they would do, but something to make it obvious that it's the ship and that they are hearing you and that they are connecting with you. You can also do this not necessarily just at night, but in the daytime. So you can a lot of the time see silver discs in the sky poking from behind clouds, coming out and then hiding again, stuff like that. So something that I had happen was really, really cool. It was actually during the day, and I was inside. I wasn't even outside when it happened, which is weird, but I was inside and I was writing out some kind of an affirmation. It was a spoken word affirmation that I was going to film later for Starseeds. And so I have a video about this where I describe this experience, but I'll quickly describe it for you now. So there was like a little tiny spaceship, because there are aliens and extraterrestrial beings that are little, like small, like so cute, right? They come in all sizes. And so this cute little ship was actually kind of shaped like a birdhouse randomly. And it was all silver, and it was really reflective, like really shiny. And I was sitting in my office, and it slowly went by the window. And when I didn't look up right away so that I didn't miss it, it like high beamed me. They like flashed their lights in through the window, and this weird like reflection hit me in the eyes, and I was like, what? And I look up, and there it was. And it went by so slowly, so I could see it in such amazing detail and be like, what? Like, it was so crazy. And then I jumped up and I watched it through the window, and it just kind of like went up and just disappeared. And that was like that was really close. Like, it was right there. That was a really cool experience. And, I had been just like chatting away with my team and, making this spoken word affirmation that was really high vibrational to be of service on Earth here to Starseeds. So doing all kinds of high vibe things when that happened. So there are many reasons why you might want to have an encounter with a ship. They can actually, it's depending on the ship that you choose, of course, make sure that you're setting your intentions for something that's aligned with your highest truth. And when you do that, then you're entering into a very high vibrational environment, and you can receive healing, you can receive guidance, you can have meetings, you can receive even motivation, right? Like, sometimes we just need to chill with our friends. Like, these are our soul group and our soul family. These are our friends and family, very close to us, and a lot of us are missing them terribly while we're here on Earth if they're not incarnated with us. So even just to receive that motivation, that love, that comfort, spend time with them, right? Like, it doesn't always have to be like an intense meeting. So I definitely encourage you looking into doing this. And, setting your intentions, calling in Archangel Michael, and then going for it. Whether it's during your dream time or your meditation, it doesn't matter. Start with Archangel Michael as the escort and the protection. Move into imagining how it would feel and look if you were going, and then your soul will take over. So imagination is the doorway for a lot of astral travel. And don't complicate it. A lot of my ship encounters are with the GFL because I meet with them so often, but it's not always about the mission. Sometimes it's personal. And so for a better description of like the ship and some of the things, some of the healing that can happen on that ship, check out my video, My Orion Lifetime Part 3. So in Part 3 of that video, I described to you like a huge healing session that happened on the GFL ship and what it looked like. And I know I've described the GFL ship to you guys a lot with like the panel, the rounded like desk of like all the different Star Nation representatives. I've done that a lot. So what I wanted to hear was like what your experiences are with this. Let's share our experiences with what we have encountered, either seeing them in the sky or actually being inside. And if you're having any fear around that, just know that your intention and the protection of Archangel Michael is more than enough to protect you. And then if you're wanting to, you probably are already having these experiences, but maybe you're just not remembering them. So if you're wanting more remembrance, then try things like selenite, clear quartz, moldavite, all with you in bed or in your hand during the meditation, so that those energies kind of like absorb a lot of those memories and like help you to remember it all. And then again, intention can work with that too. Just state, I really want to remember when I wake up what my soul did tonight. Please help me to remember. I'm going to remember. I do remember. And then you wake up and you'll have a really clear memory. This is the thing. It often happens where we have a really clear memory at like 3 or 4 in the morning when we just wake up out of nowhere. And then we think, cool, I'll remember that in a few hours when I get up. And then you go to bed and you don't remember. You remember that there was something to remember, but you don't remember what the something was. How frustrating, right? So another great idea is to record into your phone a note about, like, just describe it. Or you could have like a notebook and a pen, but I mean, who really wants to write it out at 3 or 4 in the morning? Like, it's probably easier just to record yourself, and then you can save those and have like a voice note journal of all of your different cool experiences and dreams, and at any point go back and listen to them and spark memories again for you. So the more you work on remembering this, the more you will remember. It creates momentum. So start tonight. Set the intention to remember. Set the intention to go to a ship and meet with your team for a high vibrational reason, and bring your protection and see what happens. And let me know. Come back to this video and let me know. So I look forward to reading the comments for sure on this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can also check the links in the description box where you can donate to this channel, which I really appreciate, to help me keep going with 3 videos a week, where you can sign up to be a client, which is an amazing way to support me. I love working with you all, doing one-on-ones, healings, breakthroughs, readings, whatever calls out to you. There are so many services for you to look at and check out. And then, of course, before we go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye.